Hello, I'm Liam Fogarty. You're watching Bay TV Liverpool, and today I'm meeting a remarkable woman. Since being diagnosed with cancer in 2009, my guest has raised tens of thousands of pounds, and in the process she's become one of the most recognisable charity fundraisers on Merseyside, and it's pretty obvious why. Bernie Singleton, otherwise known as Bernie Bucket, you're
Hello.
very welcome.
Thank you.
What's with the blue outfit?
Well, the blue is cancer research colour. I decided the day I was diagnosed with cancer that I would start raising money for research into various cancers. And with my name being Bernie, and I was never seen without a bucket for quite a while, I sort of evolved into Bernie Bucket, really.
You now answer to that name pretty much, do you?
Yes, I do, yes. And lots of other things.
When you were diagnosed, there'd been cancer in the family already, and tragically you lost a daughter. But why was your first response not, woe is me, isn't this terrible? Why was it, I'm going to get out and raise money?
I think everybody's different. Some people can't even say the word cancer. I was on the other end of the spectrum. I decided when I was diagnosed I wanted to do something positive. I had to leave work and I just couldn't sit at home doing absolutely nothing. I've got the most fantastic husband who I adore, and he's been so supportive. But even so, I didn't want to. He was a retired teacher, but I just couldn't sit at home doing nothing. And woe is me, as you say. So I decided I was going to start raising money.
And how much have you raised?
Up until today, we've raised £148,700 and 13 pence.
You must be very proud of yourself.
I don't know, I never think about being proud of myself. I just don't want other people to have to go through the trauma, you know, of losing a child to cancer, to living with cancer. I just don't want people to go through that, future generations. And I just think that if we can raise enough money to find a cure for this evil disease, which destroys so many people's lives, then I think that's what we've got to do.
Now, I know that with you, it's not just about raising the money, it's about actually following up how it's spent. So you've been with researchers and scientists. Tell us about some of that activity.
Well, I decided that I didn't want to give the money to buying new curtains. And I mean, although it's a fantastic thing to buy equipment for hospitals, with what I'd been through, I decided I wanted to raise actual money for research. So I do, my husband and I, Keith and I, go to Christie's Hospital, we go to meetings, and at the end of the year, when I have a separate bank account for myself for cancer research, and at the end of the year, I present a cheque and I ring fence it for different cancers each year, because I didn't want to just do it for breast cancer. I wanted to do it for different cancers.
Because some cancers are kind of, terrible word, fashionable. You know, they get a lot of attention, but there are other lethal cancers which people don't raise money for. So you're anxious to spread the
I give money
funding.
every year to basic science as well, cancer research, and that is for the way the cancer starts and grows and spreads through the body. So I think that's a very important part of research.
Do people come to you for counselling? Do they come to you because they think you've got some special insight? Because it's Bernie Bucket.
A lot of the time when we're collecting or we've got events on, people come up to me and they tell me their story, and they talk about, the people that want to, they talk about their experiences with either chemotherapy, which, you know, I've had twice now, for 2 years, different times, and they just talk about what they want to talk about. And I do support some cancer patients. I actually worked in Clatterbridge for a short period of time, supporting cancer patients with head wear when they lose their hair, because that's quite traumatic. I mean, I'm completely bald under this at the moment again.
It suits
again.
You. It suits you. This is a good look. Believe it.
Well, it's actually just grown back and it was gorgeous. Well, it was gorgeous. It was okay, and it was the way I wanted it, and then it all fell out again. So, but yeah, I mean, I support other people if they need support, because I feel I'm a strong person, and having gone through all this, that I'm able to sort of maybe support other cancer patients.
There are so many calls on people's time and money. You know, there's so much need out there. How often do you encounter a sense of maybe kind of charity fatigue when you go to people? Do they say, look, I'd love to, but I really can't?
Well, I mean, when we're standing in supermarkets, like tomorrow is World Cancer Day, the 4th of February, and we're going to Asda in Liscard over in Wallasey, and people will come up and sort of tell me their story, give me money. I feel sorry for the smaller charities, you know, the lifeboats and scouts and whatever, because cancer now affects 1 in 2 people in the UK. That's 1 in 2 in their lifetime will get cancer, which is a vast amount of people. And I think people realise that they need to find a cure. So they're actually quite generous. I have to say most people are quite generous.
Like, you've studied the research, you're aware of kind of how that fight against cancer in its many forms is going. What's your take on it? Are you optimistic that, you know, we'll crack this, or do you think that that's maybe a bit pie in the sky?
20 years ago, the fatality rate has halved. Halved since in 20 years. They are making massive inroads into finding a cure. The problem they have is that every cancer in every person is different. So, you know, I've got breast cancer, it's in both lungs and in my lymph nodes. Somebody else, their cancer reacts differently. So every cancer, and there's over 200 different types of cancer, every cancer is different in every body. So it's not one fits all when they're finding a cure. It's not as easy as that.
But do you find that people are still willing to give? I mean, are you quite, how should I put this, impossible to resist when you come up with your big bucket and your big hair? And
I think, you know, gimmicks throughout the years. I mean, I just think that if I stood there with a cancer research T-shirt, people would still give me money. But people laugh and they smile when they see me, and going out in sort of all, you know, Halloween and Christmas, I was an elf, and, you know, the people laugh and they enjoy it.
And what about your family? Obviously, you've mentioned your husband, Keith, and you've got your children and siblings and so on. Do they ever say, Mum, sis, tone it down?
I don't know. I think my son, I'm so close to my son, you know, my daughter-in-law, but he supports me. He supports me. And, you know, I think sometimes, I think in the early days, he was like, oh, gosh, there's Mum in the paper, there's Mum, you know, so, but no, they're very good.
Yeah. And do you, I mean, obviously, what brought you to this situation is a terrible thing, but have you discovered things about yourself, good things that you didn't realise, things that maybe you didn't appreciate before your diagnosis?
The only thing that I've really learned is that life is very, very short, and we're here for, and I mean, I know it's a cliche, but we're here for such a short time. And I think you've got to do things that you enjoy doing and try and help other people, because what's going on in the world at the moment is horrific. And I think the only thing that I discovered is that I enjoy helping others so much and trying to raise money to find a cure.
So you have a new perspective on life, you think?
And from the job I had, yes. Yeah.
What's your next big challenge? You've got fashion shows and variety shows and all sorts of stuff in the pipeline. What's the next thing?
Well, tomorrow we're in Asda, as I say, for World Cancer Day, but we're putting on a big show in the Adelphi on the 31st of May. Costco are sponsoring, so they're paying for everything. We've got Clanidad jewellery, absolutely beautiful homemade jewellery, handmade jewellery, I should say. We've got YSM, who's doing makeup and fashion. We've got Sport Boutique, and I believe we've got some big fashion designers coming in doing fashion shows during the day. Kieran Fox is hosting the day. We've got entertainment going on, we've got demos going on, and we're selling tables to businesses. So I already sold 2 yesterday.
So you're doing all this. You're not kind of buying in an event organiser to sort it out.
No, I'm the event organiser. It's going to be a fantastic day. It's a whole day. It's a Sunday, 31st of May. It's just, we're hoping that, you know, we're going to sell tickets and we're going to sell the tables to businesses, which are going really well. And yeah, we're going to...
But you are ill. you still have this battle. Where do you find the energy?
As I said before, life's short. So at the end of the day, I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. I'm on alternative treatment at the moment. We'll see if that works. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to do what I enjoy while I'm here. So, you know, if it's a day where I don't feel too good, I don't have to do anything. And that's the beauty of sort of doing all the work and getting people to help, you know, like Jam, a friend, and all these companies. So, you know, it's not a problem, really.
Bernie, we have so much more to talk about, and we will do after this short break. Don't go away.
Thank you.
See you soon. Welcome back. I'm Liam Fogarty, and my guest today is Bernie Singleton, charity fundraiser extraordinaire, also known as Bernie Bucket. Bernie, we were talking about some of the events you've got going to raise money for Cancer Research UK. And there's a big gig on the 4th of July, American Independence Day in New Brighton. Tell us a bit more.
Well, since I was diagnosed in 2009, I always have a big summer event. I had it in Leasowe Castle 4 times on the run, and then I thought I'd change it. So the last 2 years, I've had it on the Royal Iris and on the Snowdrop going over and cruising on the Mersey. And that was amazing. I mean, we raised over 11,000 last summer just for the one event. So I'd done that twice, and I thought, what can I do? I need to top that. And then I realised that the 4th of July was on a Saturday. And I went to the Floral, asked them if I could have their room. And we're going to put on a big Independence Day, well, night, an evening, and obviously raising money for cancer research.
So there'll be an American theme?
There'll definitely be an American theme, yeah. American food. There'll be the poppies. I don't know if you've heard of the poppies. They're fantastic. 3 girls, close harmony, American. We've just got so much going on. Beverly Macker, she is just amazing. She's going to be starring in it as well.
And you can't have the 4th of July without fireworks. Have we got fireworks?
I don't think they'll let me. I don't think they'll let me.
Let them off outside. But all this takes an amazing amount of organising. What kind of help do you get?
Well, on some events, like the one on the 31st of May, there's quite a few girls. We're all together doing it. As I say, Clan of Dads and Sport Boutique and YSM and Costco, we're all, as a group, we're doing it. The 4th of July, sometimes I actually like working on my own. I know it sounds awful, but sometimes if you've got nobody to let you down, nobody to sort of, you know, that they're not pulling the weight really, it's easier to do it on my own and get it done. And I find that quite, you know, I just get on with it.
You seem like a kind of irrepressible personality, but there must be days when you think, do you know what, I really can't be bothered. How many of those days do you have?
I had quite a few when I was going through chemo this last year and the year before. I had days where I couldn't even get out of bed. I was so ill with the chemotherapy. My oncologist wants me to stay on chemotherapy indefinitely because I can't be cured. But I'm not prepared to do that. I'm just not prepared to do it.
So you are seeking alternative therapies?
Alternative therapy.
And what yeah. Broadly speaking, without going into too many details, what does that involve?
Sort of alternative treatment, really.
Is it to do with diet, or is it to do
with my husband Keith and I both. I've been vegetarian for about 30 years. I've been a vegan for 6 years. We decided that we would not have any dairy and we'd never meat or whatever. And basically, you know, we just, I don't know, there's diet, there's all sorts of things that go, you know, mind over matter. There's all sorts of things, really.
Does the prospect of organising a big event, does it take your mind off some of that stuff?
I think it always has done. I feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. I enjoy doing it. I've met some incredible people. I've really met some fabulous. I've made a lot of new friends that will probably stay with me for the rest of my life, however long it might be. And I just think that you know, even if people are working full time and they can't give the time, just giving, £1 or £2. I actually finally opened a Just Giving page.
You've discovered the internet, have you?
Oh no, very good on the internet. You're very good on the internet. But no, I decided, because I control where the money goes to with cancer research, I wasn't that, I didn't rush to open a Just Giving page, because the money goes into the ether, the money goes to cancer research, definitely. But I just felt that I wanted to control where it was going. But there are people I meet when I'm collecting or talking to people, have you got a Just Giving page? Rather than giving me money or putting it into the bank account. So I have opened that. So it's Bernie Bucket for Cancer Research UK.
Remember the name.
I'm sure I remember Bernie Bucket.
You mentioned a little earlier, Bernie, that 20, 30 years ago, cancer was the C word. It was something people didn't really talk about.
No.
How do you think people's attitudes towards the illness have changed?
I think one of the most important things it is getting detected earlier in the cancers that can be detected earlier. Pancreatic cancer, unfortunately, is one of them that they don't normally find till you've got about 6 weeks to live, which is money. I gave money to them last year because they are finding it very, very hard. And pancreatic patients, it is pretty bad. So I did give some money to them last year.
But the way people respond to people with cancer, I mean, you're so out there and so upfront, you can't be ignored. But are there still people who, in your experience, kind of go into their shell a bit, maybe retreat, maybe keep things private?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's such a broad spectrum of people out there. Some people won't even say the word, as you say, it's the big C and nobody says anything. And other people are like me and they just want to talk about it. And I think early detection is key in anything really. If you feel that you've got a lump or you feel you're not well, you need to go and get it seen to, and you need to press. If the doctor just sends you away, you need to. If you think it's something bad, then you need to. I always say that when I say nobody cares, that's not true. But nobody cares but you for your own body, and you have to go and get it seen to if you feel that you're not right.
Are you happy with the way cancer is often reported? It's always done so in terms of a battle, a fight for life, almost that people with the illness are defined by the illness. Is that something that you notice and that you kind of object to?
No, it's a battle. There's no two ways about it. Fighting cancer is a battle, no matter what you do. It might be mentally, if it's only a small lump and it's removed and you've moved on. It's still in people's minds that it'll come back, or family members have got it. It's a battle, and anybody that says it isn't, I'm sorry, I don't agree.
What single step do you think we could take as a society to kind of really take the battle against cancer to another level? Because there are so many appeals. I mean, only the last couple of weeks has been, prostate cancer stuff for guys. You mentioned esophageal cancer, I think, which is one of the kind of Cinderella illnesses. They had some publicity. Yeah, it's on the radar. What more can we as a society do to battle this disease?
Well, I think we've got to do, and it's a cliche, we've got to look at our diet, we have to look at exercise, and people go, oh, grown, but we firmly believe that it is healthier to be a vegan. Very hard, especially when you're away on holiday, because a lot of people abroad eat meat, and it is hard. But I really do think that exercise, processed food is another one. If people can eat, not everybody can afford organic, but certainly fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, exercising, watching your weight.
But you put these messages in front of people. I mean, you mentioned meat. I mean, I eat loads of kind of meat, processed meat, red meat, and I read, the Daily Mail, the Express, they tell me it's bad for me, and I kind of know they're right, but I can't stop doing what I've always done.
Isn't it, people?
It's smoking and
like
drinking.
Smoking
How do you break through to people like that?
The thing that really annoys me most, I think, is when I obviously went quite often to Clatterbridge, and I was having chemotherapy every week recently. up until recently, and people standing outside. I don't know, in Liverpool you can see outside the Royal, there's great big posters of please do not smoke here, our patients don't like it, da, da, da. And people are standing there smoking, and that really annoys me, and I do have to say something. I say, can't you read?
Now, you mentioned Clatterbridge. Of course, Clatterbridge Trust has an enormous scheme to build a cancer centre in Liverpool. Is that something that you're part of and helping to support?
Yes. I've actually been asked by my oncologist if I will raise some money, not so much for the hospital, but for a new breast cancer trial. And I was asked a few weeks ago if I would do a little bit and help that raising money. So I'm actually putting on an event. I'm also collecting in Morrison's, Keith and I collect in Morrison's doorway, but we're actually putting on an event with a girl that I went through chemo with, who I'd never met before. We've there's a group of us really got friendly. We're meeting up on Thursday, and we're putting an event on in June in Huyton. And the reason we do it in Huyton is because Vicky, who is the young lady I'm doing it with, she's just 40, she's just gone through her chemo and whatever. She had a birthday party, a 40th birthday party a couple of months ago, and she had the place packed out with friends and family. And because I'm putting 2 other events on, the hardest part about an event is selling the tickets. So Vicky said she can get all those people there. So I'm like, yes. So that's for Clatterbridge.
Hopefully your appearance on Bay TV Liverpool will help. You're very hard to avoid, Bernie. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
It's a pleasure, and
Pleasure
thank you
to
for
meet you,
having
and good luck
me
with all your efforts.
Thank you.
That's all from now. See you again soon.